Hey Downtimers, today we're going to look at business card tiles. I recently scored a bunch of 1mm thick, sturdy business cards from a local business owner who knows how much I enjoy crafting for my favorite tabletop games. And I immediately set out to try to figure out exactly what I could use these for. And the first thing I noticed is that with a little adjusting, I should be able to make them 3.5 by 3.5, which is what I like to use for my tiles. The business cards are already at 3.5 on the length, so I knew that if I took two of them together and cut them at 1 3/4, that would make a width of 3.5 as well. So rather than marking each and every business card at 1 3/4 and cutting with scissors, I soon realized that cutting with my paper trimmer would be way faster and more accurate. So I simply need to set the business card at the 4.5-inch mark and trim away. Once I have 4 of these cards cut with the paper trimmer, I'll put them down 2 vertical and then 2 horizontal on top of the vertical, and I'll make sure to put all the cut size together, and I'll simply glue them together with my Elmer's glue stick. This glue is actually really strong stuff, but I like to make sure I put plenty of it down on the cards, especially in the corners, because this is going to be the foundation of the tile. I don't really like sharp corners on my tiles, so I will round them out just a little with scissors. And on each tile, I'll have 1 or 2 fairly sharp corners to kind of fill in gaps, especially when I use tiles together to make a room. But on at least 1 or 2 corners for each tile, I have them rounded out quite a bit. I think this makes the tiles a little more versatile as to how they can be used in setups. And I also think it makes them a lot more practical for putting in pockets and so forth. After I black bomb the tiles, then I'll use Mod Podge with a sponge to help conceal the gap between the business cards, as well as add a little texture to the cards. And I'll do this on both sides. Usually I apply anywhere from 2 to 4 coats on each side, just applying coats until I notice that the gap has been fairly concealed. When I make these tiles, I make anywhere from half a dozen to a dozen at a time. And so if I apply the Mod Podge under a fan, I've noticed that I can just go from one tile to the next pretty much without stopping and applying coats because it dries so quickly under a fan. Here's a good example of what I'm looking for that tells me when I should stop applying Mod Podge. Thanks to DM Scotty, I have created a foam board stamp that comes in really handy for stuff like this, and I simply need to apply the paint to the foam board stamp and then make a good press, and then I have a nice pattern on the tile, and then I can clean it up a touch after that. I then use black paint to make the stones look a little more distinct and separated. And I use white paint to highlight random stones and stone edges. I like to apply the white paint in kind of a random fashion. I don't like putting white paint on one stone and then going right directly to the next one. So you'll notice I really like to be random with this. Some stones will be completely white, some stones will be mostly white, and some stones will not have any white paint on them at all, and while some others might have just a corner or a side highlighted. Now for the cave tile side. This side to me is a little more fun because I get to kind of play around and just put paint wherever I want it to be, and there's no real pattern, but there is a little bit of a process. I first start with gray paint, then I go with brown, and then I go with beige, and then I go with white. And on the cave side as well, I'm going to use the white as a highlight, and I'm going to go around the corners and maybe just a touch on the side to highlight the tile with the white paint. These tiles are great for the Game Master on the go. I mean, you could put about 2 dozen of these in some cargo shorts or cargo pants pockets. They store really easily. They're only 2 millimeters thick. So all sorts of things can be done with these. They look good. They're extremely strong and durable. and they're easy to deal with, and it's kind of like playing cards meets dungeon tiles. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions or any comments about this, please put them below in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so now. Also, if you got anything out of this, please give me a like. Thanks a lot, guys. And as always, thanks for watching.